Hey guys, this is the Anime Fiend bringing to you today One Piece greatness, and today we're gonna talk about what's in store for the future of the Marines. I've been talking to my friends a lot lately about Marines and what is the future of Marines. What role would the Marines play for the end game of One Piece, or are they gonna be only at the end game, not before that? All these things, right? And different friends had different views, right? And of course, all these conversations are on Discord, and yeah, if you want to join, then you could also join in with these discussions and stuff. But of course, what all plans could these Marines have in store for all these pirates and the One Piece world, right? And when I say Marines, I'm only talking about the Marines, not not the world government, not like the CP0 and stuff, right? They, of course, they have their own plans. They don't share everything with the Marines, so yeah, that's a discussion for later. But what are the plans of these Marines, right? Because whenever we talk about Marines, everybody mentions like, oh, the Gorosei, they're cleansing, and oh, the final war, there's gonna be a huge war between the pirates and the Marines at the end of the day, and all these things, right? But these are, of course, not the exact plans of the Marines, right? These things, like, of course, the pirates, that is, of course, Luffy, would do something which would trigger this war, and even Blackbeard is, up to something. So we know that, they're gonna be involved in that way. But you see, their own plans or something else, right? Because you see, Akainu wants to destroy all these pirates and stuff, right? And because we already know that Sengoku did not disturb the balance between the Yonko and these people, but you see, Akainu doesn't want to like maintain this shit, right? He wants to like have marine supremacy all over the world because he doesn't like these pirates, and he actually wants to accomplish something, right? Not just be on a stalemate with everyone, right? So you see, of course, we know that he wants to dissolve the emperors first, right? Because of course they are the biggest threat they could ever have. And we know that Drake is, of course, a member of the Sword, and he's a spy in Kaido's crew, right? And we could pretty much assume that Aokiji is also a spy in Blackbeard's crew, right? I mean, come on, it's Aokiji. He's not evil, right? Like, he's not Kizaru, so that we're like, oh man, Kizaru is so mysterious, we don't know about him. Or he's not a Kainu, who's like, he could do anything and everything for, like his justice, right? But it's Aokiji, of course, is not evil. So, and of course, he even saved Smoker from Doflamingo. So it's not that crazy to assume Aokiji is probably Sword, right? So we know that Akainu is planning something, right? And I'm pretty much sure that Akainu is also a member of the Sword, right? And we pretty much assume that these people, they're trying to infiltrate the Yonko to see, like, whenever they are weak, whenever they're vulnerable, so that these people could attack and take over, right? But of course, right now, their main issue isn't the Yonko, right? Because their main problem right now is the Shichibukai, because they have been dissolved, recently. And because, recently they've been dissolved, if these people actually could capture these Shichibukai, it would be a huge W for these people. And well, apparently, of course, they have something called the SSG, right? Which would actually replace the Shichibukai. So, how strong is the SSG? And, you know, uh, like, how good of an opportunity is, using the Shichibukai as a, as like a fodder to these SSG if they want to hype the SSG, right? And of course, so the best way to introduce SSG to the world, to show like, even after these Shichibukai aren't under us, we could still maintain the power. Yeah, flex the SSG on at least one Shichibukai, right? So that, when they capture them, they're like, dude, we replaced them with these SSG, and SSG actually, defeated one of the Shichibukai. So that would be huge, right? And if you actually ask me who the Shichibukai is, I would, by process of elimination, you see, okay, Mihawk, yeah, they're not touching Mihawk, right? Of course not. Because if Mihawk is getting defeated in the story, I can see only three people doing that, and one is either Blackbeard, maybe Shiryu, and Zoro, right? I think only these three, could defeat Mihawk at this point. Like, I'm not talking about strength, of course not. I'm talking about, like, according to, what the story is showing us, yeah, at least I don't think that Mihawk is going down by, anybody else other than Blackbeard, Shiryu, and Zoro, right? Only these three, I think, yeah, there's a possibility that they could, like, kill or defeat Mihawk, right? But of course, so we're ruling out Mihawk. Now Weevil, if Weevil gets captured this soon, I mean, we didn't see anything from him, and if he gets captured, he's like, people are gonna be like, what? He just came to be captured, like he didn't even show anything, right? So I mean, yeah, by like showing how new this guy is, I don't think he's getting defeated either, right? And of course, now we see Buggy, and well, nobody can capture God, right? Come on, God, So of course, now the only one left is Boa Hancock, right? So, well, of course, Boa Hancock, and she could be defeated by Kobe, and Kobe like either using the SSG or with the help of the SSG, right? Because we actually don't know what SSG is. So it could be a who, it could be like a group of people, it could be like some weapons or something, right? Like maybe some upgraded version of the Pacifista or something, right? So anyways, I think Kobe is gonna be somewhat like what Sentomaru was by using these SSG. So yeah, I think they would capture Boa, but again, that I'm not sure, but at least to flex the SSG, I think that's what they gotta do. Now you see, once they test out the SSG and whether they're successful or not, right? Of course, their next plan, I think, in my opinion, is to raid on the Emperors, right? And I think that is what Akainu is aiming for. And I think that is what we would actually see. But you see, the thing is, I think something would change Akainu's plans, and there are two things that would change Akainu's plan, and those two things right now are, of course, the big bad Blackbeard himself, and the others are the Revolutionary Army. And yeah, seeing at what is gonna happen in the Reverie, or I should say what actually happened in the Reverie, I think we could basically get what the Revolutionary Army is trying to do. And I think that's the same with Blackbeard as well, because we see Blackbeard is going for something that he said, if the Marines aren't going for it, then I would go and take it for myself, right? Now, I don't know, it could be like, some ancient weapon, or maybe it could be Pluton, because they were even talking about Alabasta, right? But again, we don't know about that. It could actually be the Shichibukai, right? Because yeah, when he says if the Marines don't want it, then maybe it could be like they don't want the Shichibukai, so I'm gonna enlist them. But who knows? And if Blackbeard actually is coming after the Shichibukai, then yeah, I mean, the Marines trying to destroy the Shichibukai and Blackbeard trying to claim them, yeah, it could be a problem for the Marines. And Blackbeard, looking at him right now, yeah, I don't think he's afraid of a lot of things at this moment, right? Because right now he looks unstoppable. So that thing, and of course the revs now, whatever happened to Sabo, I think the revs also gotta go move, right? So I think right now the Marines have the privilege of taking their time and going after these Yonko, right? Because I think right now they have more pressing matters, and yeah, let's see how Akainu actually reacts to these things, right? Because apparently he has a huge grudge against Dragon himself, and yeah, Blackbeard is no small threat either, right? I mean, he is of course one of the emperors, and if Aokiji is one of the sword, then he is one of the primary targets of sword. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen because Blackbeard is not going down anytime soon. So the only people who we could actually see yeah, maybe going down at the hands of Akainu and the Marines are Revs, and we don't know what Revs are up to, and what actually happened to Sabo. But yeah, that I think would be really interesting. But anyways, these are my thoughts about like what Marines' actual plan is, because all we see in the story is like what would happen at the end and what would make the Marines change their plans, right? But what are the actual plans of Marines, we don't know exactly, because yeah, everybody mentions like, yeah, in the final war the Marines are gonna show up, or in Wano the Marines are gonna show up, but like we actually don't know their actual plan. And looking at the story and all these sword members and stuff, I think this is what their initial plan was, but eventually it might change because of different stuff. But anyways, man, that's my video. And if you think the video is good, then of course like, share, subscribe, and if you want to support me even more than that, then you could sign up on my Patreon. But of course, liking, sharing, subscribing is all the help I need. And join my Discord if you want to chime in all these like discussions and stuff. It would be fun. But anyways, man, as always, until next time, peace.